Hello all, it is Taylor and I'm here to do a book review for one of my most anticipated book releases of spring 2018, and that is Leah on the Offbeat by Becky, Albertalli. So this is the sequel / companion to Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, also known as Love, Simon the Movie, and so this book is taking place in the Simonverse about a year later, and now we are following a different main character. We are now following Simon's best friend, Leah. And I really liked Leah in the first book. I thought she was really interesting, so I'm really excited to get to see it from another perspective. And you still get to see all the characters from Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, and it's kind of nice to see it all from a different perspective and outlook, being Leah. So overall, I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did really enjoy it. I think I might have hyped it up a little too much for myself. There was such great humor in it, such great messages, and it touched on some really cool topics that I haven't seen in a lot of books, and I think they're important topics to be touched on. So I do really appreciate that part. I think that's something Becky Albertalli does very gracefully and sophisticatedly, and it's really important to have that in YA literature. It's a great way for us to learn through that. So I really did enjoy it. I think the ending to me was just a little rushed. It kind of just all wrapped up all of a sudden, and maybe it's just because I don't want the Simonverse to end that I found it just such a short, quick ending, and I wanted more from the ending. But that is why I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. I wanted a little more. It just ended all of a sudden, in my opinion. And that's at least what I felt while reading the book, and I know people are gonna say they loved the ending or they hated the ending or somewhere in between, and I'm definitely someone in between. I definitely did not hate it. I loved the way it ended. It just seemed very abrupt and all of a sudden the end, and I was really sad by that. I wanted a little more. So let's get into talking a little bit more about the book. I'm going to keep this part spoiler free, and I'll let you know when I'm going to dive into the spoilers. So like I said, we are following the Simonverse a year later after Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda. They are all now in their senior year of high school, near the end. They're just months from graduation when it seems everything is going to change. They're going to be going off to university, it's prom. It's kind of like the beginning of the end is where we are picking up. In this book, we'd find out that Leah is bisexual. This is something that her mother knows but not her friends, despite the fact that Simon is openly a gay individual. Same with his partner. I don't want to say that because if you haven't anyways, but yeah, if you haven't read Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, do not read this book yet. You definitely want to read the first one because there are major spoilers in this book. It picks up a year later, and it's almost like it's just picking up where it was. So definitely read Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda first. But like I said, we are following Leah, who is Simon's best friend. She comes from a not necessarily unique situation, but something would be very common for many people. She lives with her mom, who is in the dating marketing area of her life. Her mom is out looking for a partner of her own, you know, a boyfriend, someone she wants to be with, and this is something Leah has to deal with in this book, as her mom is now dating. But Leah and her mom, they seem fairly close. Leah's mom is aware of the fact that Leah identifies as bisexual, and her mom is so okay with that, and it is so amazing. I love reading parents like that who are just so accepting. It just gives me hope that other parents are actually out there like that. And I'm now rambling, don't know what I was saying. We get to see a lot more of Leah's personality come through in this book, obviously with her being the main character. We get to see a lot of that. The other thing that we get to learn about Leah, since the fact that she just lives with her mom who is dating, is that her mom works really hard to provide for her family, and while they are not extremely well off, they do get by, but this is something Leah has to come to terms with, is the fact that she's not as well off as her friends, and she doesn't have everything like her friends do. So this is something she's learning to be okay with and embrace and understand, and really, like I said, just be okay with it. So I personally had many different feelings while reading this book. I literally laughed out loud for a lot of these things. It was such great humor in this book, and I was feeling the emotions of the characters. So I was sad at times, I was happy, I was excited, I was giggly, like I said. There were some really great quotes in here. Becky Albertalli has amazing writing, and she's really talented. One thing that I did feel at times was a little cringy about the romance that is going on, because Leah does start to fall for one of her friends, and that is played out throughout the book. And I know there's many speculations of which friend it's gonna be, which yeah, I was a little cringy at times, the romance, and it felt very fast-paced at times, and that there's a lot of pressure in it to define who you are and how you identify. So those are some elements that I didn't really appreciate about the romance. I don't think I would have ever picked this romance, to be honest, but I do like it. I do like it. I feel like I'm having to reassure myself. I think, like myself, you may or may not ship the romance that is portrayed in Leah on the Offbeat, but it does make you smile, and it made me happy on the inside. So I did really appreciate that. And this book, like I mentioned, touches on so many important topics that we need to be talking about and reading and discussing. The first one being LGBTQ+, having another representation. And I think it's awesome that we have a bisexual character. That's not really something I've seen in literature before. I tend to find that it's either straight or gay. So having bisexual characters, I loved it. I adored it. I thought that was perfect. I kind of touched on this. It does discuss this idea of privilege and having things versus not having things. So where Leah's coming from a family that doesn't have everything, where her friends do, like they talk about at one point how Nick has this amazing drum set that costs hundreds of dollars and he doesn't even play the drums, but his family can just afford to have it basically sit in the basement, and this is something Leah can't even like fathom. And we also see this idea of privilege in the idea of university. In, you know, financially, university is super expensive, and for someone like Leah, she can't go out of state like some of her friends are thinking about. So we see that aspect as well. One thing that I thought was super unique to have in a book like this, I mean, the fact that it's talking about LGBTQ plus issues and characters alone is amazing, and that alone would make this book stand out. But we also discuss racism in this book, and you see an instant where comments are made and people have to make the decision about whether or not they're going to say anything about it, stand up for what they believe in, and how this will all be addressed. And so I think Becky Albertalli did this amazing job of taking all these crucial things in our day and age and just putting them all into this one amazing book of Leah on the Offbeat. All in all, I would say this is a must-read book after you read Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, though. It was fun, it was easy, good quick read, and as much as the conclusion felt very fast for me, the characters do get a good conclusion, which I really appreciate. So I have flagged 3 quotations in this book that I want to share with you all that just caught me. I'll explain a little bit why I really like those quotes, why I picked up on them, things like that. But I would say now is probably where the spoilers will come in. But if you haven't read the book, I would definitely suggest clicking out now. So this is this is spoilers now. So this is when Abby and Leah have gone off to tour the university, and they are staying at Caitlin's house. And so it starts off this quote that I really liked, with Caitlin saying, "Cool. Well, if you're up for it, my friend Eva is having people over tomorrow night. They live downstairs. It's literally this exact apartment, but on the 5th floor. Leah, you would love them. They're a drummer." That casual singular they. It isn't even my pronoun, but it feels like a hug, because of Caitlin unfazed by her NB friend's pronoun, she's probably unfazed by me being bi. So I thought this was awesome to bring up the concept of pronouns in this book. So it's more touching on LGBTQ issues. Pronouns are so important. You know, calling a person by the right pronoun is so important, and I think that little passage can depict that, and how for someone who doesn't even use the pronoun they pick up on it, and they see this person is like, wow, they're accepting. The fact that they're using the pronoun they as singular for their friend, they probably wouldn't even care that, you know, this is what Leah's thinking. Like, she's like, I don't think they would care that I'm bi. So it just showed that acceptance, and I think it was a cool concept to bring in, because I've personally never read a book that deals with people using the pronoun they. I think that'd be awesome. Someone should get on that and write it, if not myself. I don't think I would write a good book. But anyways, it's nice to see that brought into the book, and I think that's something that hopefully other people who have read the book picked up on and could start to think about, like, yes, pronouns are important. I need to be conscious of this, and so what? They go by they. Cool. So, day, how's your day going? You know, like, it was just nice of how casual it was brought in, but I think it's an important topic in this day and age, so I was really excited when I saw that in the book, which is why I liked it. So the next one is a quote from Leah's mom that I read it, and I liked it because I thought it was a really good messaging again. So it starts off saying, "Mom laughs, but you're not. Not at all. You just want to be the best. You have to let that go. Embrace the suck. Let your guts hang out a little." I really enjoyed that when she said embrace the suck. You know, you have to let it go. And I think this is such great motherly advice. It's great advice for anyone about just letting go, letting it be. It is what it is. And I think it was really encouraging to see something like that. So, I don't know, it's been a while since I read this book, I'm not gonna lie. At least 2 weeks. But I do remember thinking, like, wow, that's great advice. I'm gonna embrace the suck. And lastly, so this is again from Leah's mom, who is just absolutely amazing. I love her in the book. I want a book just of Leah's mom because she is a cool lady. And she is telling Leah about when she found out she was pregnant, and she didn't find out or didn't really care what the gender of the baby was. And so Leah's mom says, I know. She pokes my cheek. I don't know. I was just so excited about it. I didn't even care what sex you were. I just wanted to know everything about you. And to me, again, that kind of, I guess, goes into the LGBTQ things about gender is a social construct, which got brought up just a few lines before that passage, and how we're just people, and gender is one part of us, but it's not everything of us. And there's so much more to us that's to be discovered and shared with people. And I think Leah's mom really embraced that when she's saying, I just want to know everything about you. You know, I don't care if you were a boy or a girl or whatever you are, you know, you're a person, and I want to know everything about you. So those were the 3 quotes I found that I really liked in the book. They were memorable quotes because I thought they brought up important issues. They touched on some really important issues. And they gave some great advice, like embracing the suck. So that has been my review for Leah on the Offbeat. Let me know down below if you have read Leah on the Offbeat, what you thought about it. What did you rate it? What was your favorite quote? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you want more from the Scienverse? I think we all want more from the Scienverse, so that's not even a question. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you have not picked it up yet, you should definitely pick up Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli after you have read Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda by Becky Albertalli. So don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Bye!